Nicola Sturgeon handed devastating blow over 2021 Scottish independence vote in new poll. Two-thirds of Scots do not want a second Scottish independence referendum next year, according to a poll, handing a huge blow to Nicola Sturgeon. A study undertaken by Survation shows the percentage amid the coronavirus pandemic, with Scots claiming the First Minister should be focusing on tackling the pandemic. Nicola Sturgeon had said that a second independence referendum should happen in the earlier part of the next Holyrood term. Asked if it would happen in 2021, Ms Sturgeon said she had neither ruled it out nor ruled it in, while SNP Westminster leader Ian Blackford committed to having a vote next year. But in the poll, when asked about the timing of another referendum, 66% said a vote should not take place in 2021. Only 21% supported the idea of a vote taking place next year, whilst 13% were not sure. More than two-thirds, 69%, of Conservative voters echoed Scottish Secretary Alister Jack's comments of a vote being a once-in-a-generation opportunity. They said a vote should not take place next year and wanted to wait for more than 4 years, while 45% of Labour and 55% of Liberal Democrat voters felt the same way. Asked how much they agreed that the Scottish Government should prioritise dealing with the recovery from COVID-19 before an independence referendum, 78% of people said they either strongly or somewhat agreed. Of the SNP voters who were part of the study, 64% also said they would prefer the Scottish Government to prioritise COVID recovery over a referendum. The poll, commissioned by Scottish Labour, rejects a referendum next year after 16 polls this year showed support for Scottish independence. Richard Leonard, leader of Scottish Labour, said, Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP have suggested holding an independence referendum next year. But now is not the time for another referendum. The Scottish Government should instead be fully focused on the recovery from the public health and economic crises which 13 years of SNP rule left Scotland unprepared to face. Pamela Nash, Chief Executive of Scotland in Union, said, to even contemplate holding a divisive second independence referendum at this time is grossly irresponsible, and even an overwhelming majority of SNP voters agree it should not be prioritised. Anas Sarwar MSP, Constitution spokesperson for Scottish Labour, said it was a gross insult. The SNP was talking about the prospect of a second vote in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic.